the Heidi Chronicles.
Can you have it all, ladies?
Patty and Emily, thoughts and comedy from Broadway super fans. From Broadway super fans.
It was interesting seeing this play because I feel like I've heard about this play for years and I've never read it and I didn't know it, but I was like, oh, it's about feminism.
Yeah.
And I also, unfortunately, people had said things in my
little
ear.
birdies in your ear.
Little birdies in my ear who were like, you're gonna love the show, you're gonna hate the ending.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, what's the ending gonna be? So that was like in my head a lot when I was seeing it, but I like really, really loved it, and I thought it was wonderful, and I was like, I liked the ending, I thought it was good. And I've had many conversations with many different people and many feminists who hated the ending, and I was like, let me explain to you why I like the ending. I think the ending's good.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I had secondhand you saying that someone said you wouldn't like the ending, so I had that in my head too. I really liked it.
It's a period piece.
Absolutely.
I mean, my friends who have like feminist problems with the show, I am sort of like, but it's a period piece. Like it's a different time period in feminism. It's not the same feminism that I don't think the feminism that I live in and that I strive for is not, can she have it all?
Yeah.
Because I think we're at a point now where hopefully people are realizing that is a stupid thing that doesn't exist ever, and is like, nobody has it all.
Yeah.
You
have
like,
what you want, and if you don't have it, that fucking sucks.
So, spoiler alert, the end of the play, Heidi adopts a baby. And a lot of my feminist friends were like, I feel like the ending is saying that all of her problems are solved because she got a baby, and that the play is then saying that get a baby and you'll be happy. And I was like, that is not what the play is saying at all.
No.
That's not what the play is saying at all, and I cannot believe that that's what you got out of it.
She literally says the opposite of that, because one of my favorite lines is at the end of it, when douchey Jason Biggs comes back and his like, so what's the baby's name? Judy. Is Judy your solution? And she said, no, Judy's my choice.
Yeah.
Or my decision, not my choice. My decision. She decided to adopt a child. But it wasn't to fix everything.
Well, right.
Her friend Susie goes through many waves of her personal journey to find whatever life she wants.
Right.
I don't think any of that involves having children. At the end, she's like a hotshot Hollywood,
Right.
spoiler, really old play, spoiler alert, hotshot Hollywood producer. No mention of kids, and she's like happy and a little bit of a like funny Hollywood caricature.
Sure.
But still.
Well, but I think the thing about the ending is that I think Scoop, Jason Biggs' character, and Heidi are at the same point in their lives at the end of the play, because he has just, I mean, all the spoilers, you guys, like all the spoilers. He's sold, he spent all these years building this company, and he's sold the company because he's gotten to a point in his life where he realized that right now in his life, that's not what he wants to be doing, and it's not fulfilling him, and he needs to do something else. And that's exactly what Heidi did. She got to a certain point in her life where she was like, I've been going after this thing, and I thought that was the thing that I wanted, and it was for a long time, and now I'm realizing that it's not the thing that I want right now, and I need to figure out what the next thing. And I can understand why people then are like, if they're not, if you're reading into it a certain way, that you're like, oh, and then she gets a baby and that fixes thing. But I really don't think in any way the play is saying that the baby fixed her life. It was like, I've gotten to a point in my life where what I've been doing isn't working for me anymore, and I want to try something else. What should I try? I'm going to try a baby. Well, that's a choice. That's an option.
It might turn out great, and just like having a baby with your lifelong partner might turn out to be a bad decision. Maybe you weren't going to be great parents and you didn't know it. But that doesn't mean, in retrospect, you think maybe we shouldn't have a kid. But you don't know that.
Right.
So yeah, it's a decision just like a committed couple would make.
Yeah, I feel like the people who are having negative reactions to her choosing to have a baby are practicing old feminism and are like, you should be a strong, independent woman who don't need no man and don't need no baby.
Well, I think part of it might also be, which I do understand, they personally don't want children, and it might just be to them another thing telling them women should have children, which it doesn't have to be.
No, like I totally understand
I mean?
that, especially because I don't want to have kids. I get angry when, like, you know, this is like a random other show reference, but like, that's why I hated the ending of Tuck Everlasting, because I felt like the end of Tuck Everlasting was saying you can't have a fulfilling life unless you have kids and pass on your legacy. And that drove me crazy because I never want to have children. And for some reason, the way it was played in, you know, maybe the same concept in this show, I was like, that was the choice that she decided to make right now for her, because she is hoping that that's the right choice. And I totally understand that. Like, I don't know, I'm going to try this.
I think the difference between those two examples is that it really was shown as her legacy in Tuck Everlasting, and this was just the beginning of Heidi's journey as a mom. And that doesn't mean that child isn't going to go on to do great things to help her mother's legacy or whatever, but it's just a step in her journey to find her true woman self.
I love the costumes.
Costumes were great.
Fucking great.
Really great.
Wigs, all of it. All the period stuff was really... I loved the set. I loved how the set worked. I thought it was really good. You didn't like the set?
It's too projection-y for me.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't really like the montage of, now we're in this period. Also because it made me think, what did they do for the original production of this when that wasn't a current thing in theater?
I don't know, go watch it at the library.
A go-to of theater. Well, I mean, maybe I will.
They probably had less indicators of the time period. Elisabeth Moss. I thought she was great.
She's great.
I think because I didn't know the material, I walked out and I thought she was great. From what I've heard from other people who know the play very well, who have seen this production, who were less satisfied with her performance, and I could see how the show could be completely different with an actress who played it with more, like, conviction.
Yeah.
But I thought, like, okay, well, here's what I felt.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's okay.
At the beginning of the second act, when it's back in the lecture hall, she describes herself as, like, describes being an art historian, and is like, being an art historian, it's like, you're not an artist and you're not creating the art, but you're not just like a person walking through a museum. You're like very seriously like studying things, but from the background. Yeah. And that put everything in frame for me, where I was like, that's who the character within the play is. Yeah. She's the person who's just like there to witness everything, and that's her purpose, you know?
Well, and I think the title itself, like the Heidi Chronicles, it's chronicling her life, but as it happens around her, and as the people around her influence her and help her grow, as she experiences it herself. Right.
Yeah, and I felt like, you know, because of the things in the scenes when they talk about things that she's done, which we don't actually get to see, we just hear about them. I felt like the playwriting is very skillfully being like, she is a woman of conviction. She is a hardcore, awesome feminist in the 70s and all that stuff. But like, that scene where she like does this awesome thing is not what the play is about. The play is about the ramifications of that. Yeah. So we're not going to show you her, you know, like doing this fucking awesome feminist thing. We're going to show you how that affects her relationships and how it affects her life and how she deals with other people, which is like way more interesting, I think. Yeah. I thought Elisabeth Moss was wonderful.
And that speech
Holy shit, that speech. Oh! Jason Biggs. I thought he was really good at playing that character that I don't like. So that was good. Yeah. I didn't think he had good chemistry with Elisabeth Moss, so I felt like, I was like, I don't know why she gives a shit about this guy. He's a fucking asshole. Like, he's a great asshole, like a great asshole character, But I was also like, girl, what you doing? No, get out of there.
I agree. Their chemistry wasn't great. Because really, it was like that first scene that they had together. I really didn't.
At the end of that scene, I was like, why would she go with him?
Yeah.
Why would she give a shit?
Yeah.
And it was at the end of the first act at his wedding when there's that line where he's like, spoiler alert, I'm always gonna be in love with you or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But then I was like, oh, I guess like he is like really in love with her. And I was like, I wasn't really, I mean, I certainly wasn't, I felt like I was getting that from the text, but not from the performances.
Yeah.
Bryce Pinkham.
Oh my god. Bryce Pinkham.
Bryce Pinkham is fucking perfect.
Shut up, you guys.
He is so fucking good. What a perfect part for him. He was perfect.
Do you know what's ridiculous for you to say, though, what a perfect part for him? Is because the 3 shows that we've seen him in, maybe more, but as, like, principal roles.
Okay.
Ghost, Gentleman's Guide, Heidi Chronicles. Those 3 roles are so wildly different from each other.
That's so
that
true.
like every role is perfect for Bryce Pinkham.
He has
apparently.
a wide range. I enjoyed him so much.
He's so sweet in this show. Which is funny because his character, they repeatedly say, is like cynical and caustic, which I can see, but at the same time, it's his relationship with Heidi is so sweet that I enjoyed that character so much more than Jason Biggs, who's supposed to be like charismatic.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
so
nope.
true. So true.
You know?
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah.
Huh. Loved him.
Oh, right, bingo.
Let's talk about Tracee Chimo.
Oh, yes.
Because she is so fucking incredible. I want her to be in everything I've ever seen, always everything.
She's amazing.
When she came around on that track as Fran, she was just dancing and
to
just
Aretha?
She was like dancing, and I was just immediately was like, I love you and I love everything you do.
Yeah.
And everything she did during. Oh my god, that
Also,
fucking TV character she played.
Oh my god.
At New York.
Very
very
Joan Calamezzo.
So yes.
But like not. No.
She was just like, hi! She has so much range.
Yes.
She can play anything.
I know.
I want to
She's
see.
great.
I want to see
pregnant lady character was
that
delightful
wig and that outfit.
Yeah. There was Ali Ahn who played Susie. Susan Susie.
I loved her.
She
Oh
was
my
great.
god. I thought she was so funny and so amazing, and I really, 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 really appreciated a not white person being in the show a lot, because it's, and that's another criticism of the show, is that people are like, this is feminism for rich white women, and I'm like, yes, it is. Like,
It's certainly feminism for rich women, which it doesn't have to be just.
You think it's for rich women, but not just. What do you mean? Why are you
Well,
taking
in the
out
way-
the white part?
Because depending on how you cast it.
I think, well, here, I wouldn't be opposed to colorblind casting Heidi, like, as a black person or something like that, but I think that would be a problem because since the play doesn't deal with race at all.
Well, that's true.
Like, telling the story of a black feminist woman in that time period and not talking about her blackness.
Yeah, alright, fair enough. Fair enough. You're not discussing something that might have affected that.
Absolutely.
Sure.
I mean, I think a lot of the problems that I have found that other people have with the show that I don't have with the show are actually people being frustrated that there's just not more work by women and feminist shows out there. And I totally understand that you're like, if this is the only feminist show we get to have on Broadway, that's bullshit because we want more, and I totally am with you, but I'm not going to fault the play for not being good for everyone because it's the only one we get. We need to just work on getting more.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not mad at the play because it's about white people. I am mad that there are not more shows about black people and intersectionality and stuff like that, but I'm not mad at this play because it's about white people.
Broadway Superfans.
Emily, I'm so glad you're here today.
Oh,